All right, this is lesson 834. So, a couple of things we learned about triangles. Yesterday we learned that if you take the three angles of a triangle, they should add up to a certain amount every single time. So, if we look at this one here, the smallest angle of this triangle, you can see it says 34, and when I line this up, it is 34 degrees. And this second angle that is marked, we can see is 82 degrees. So let's line it up. There's about 82 degrees right there. And if we were to measure this third one, you can see that it is about 64 degrees, right? Because it's the acute one. So this is about 64. So what if we were to have to solve this without using a protractor? Because sometimes the angles aren't going to work out with the protractor just because formatting issues or whatever. So if we were to try to solve this without a protractor, we got to remember this rule. The sum of the angles of all triangles must equal 180. So we measured this to be 64. 64 and 34, that's 98. 98 plus 82 is 180 degrees. So we can find a missing angle in these triangles by using an algebraic equation. Okay, so look at the three angles. Let's go back to the unknown. So this is n. So we're trying to find out n. We can make an equation since we know that this angle plus that angle plus that angle equals 180. So our equation would be 34 plus 82 plus n equals 180 degrees. And this is how we would solve it without a protractor. And then combining our like terms, we have 34 plus 82, which equals 116, plus n equals 180. And then isolating our variable, we would subtract 116 from both sides. And we get n equals 64. Okay, so this is the way to solve it algebraically. So if we look at our second triangle, how do we solve for this missing? Well, we have two missing angles. Actually, when we look at this symbol, that means 90 degrees. This is a 90-degree angle. This is the symbol for a right angle. So to solve this one, it would be 90 plus 32 plus n equals 180, and then we would just solve it the same way we solved that first one. 90 plus 32 is 122 plus n equals 180, and then we subtract 122 from both sides, and we get n is equal to 58 degrees. Okay, so this is what we could come to expect from a test. Okay, so in this one, it gets a little bit more complicated because instead of an unknown, we have this expression, but the method does not change. Okay, the same method. We're going to add the first angle, which is 7x minus 3, plus 77, plus 50, and together they should equal 180. And then we would just solve that like a regular equation. Okay, so 77 and 50, that's 127, minus 3 is 124. So 7x plus 124 is equal to 180. And then subtract 124 from both sides. And we have 7x is equal to 180 minus 124 is 56. And then our last step would be to divide by the coefficient, and we get our answer, our solution. X is equal to 8. Okay, now keep in mind that's not 8 degrees. 8 is just what we would plug in here to get our angle measurement. Okay, so we plug it in. 7 times 8 minus 3 would be 53 degrees. Okay, so plugging that in. And if you look at the bottom part, now this is true about the sides of a triangle. When you have the length of the sides of a triangle, the longest side must be less than, well, let's cross out one of those thens, must be less than the sum of the two shortest sides. Now here's why. If you look at the, these would be 3 line segments. If we were to make a triangle out of it, would we be able to? So we can see that the longest side is 30 units, this side is 20 units, and this side is 10 units. So if we were to put these, like connect this right here as a vertex and connect that as a vertex, these lines would just kind of merge into each other. We wouldn't be able to open it up at all. So what I mean is we wouldn't be able to open it up like this. If we have any kind of angle right here, then the 20 and the 10 would not meet, because they would have to be straight in order to be 30. And we know that if we do a diagonal, it's going to add a little bit of length. So for that reason, we have to make sure that the longest side is less than the sum of the two sides. So 10 plus 20 must be more than 30. Okay, so if you look at these two sides, you have 22 and 12, which is 34. That's more than the longest side. So these can be a triangle. Okay, now when we're looking at the back side, we have now quadrilaterals. Now quadrilaterals, we measured the angles of a quadrilateral earlier when we were constructing, and we found out that all 4 angles of a quadrilateral equal 360 degrees. Okay, so to find the missing value for x and then find that angle, we would do the same thing we did with the triangles. We would go 90 plus 90 plus 119 plus 2x plus 3 equals 360 degrees. Okay, and then we add up, 90 plus 90 plus 119, which is 299 plus 2x plus 3 equals 360. And then we can still add the 299 and the 3, so that would be 302 plus 2x equals 360. And then isolate the variable term, subtract 302 from both sides, and we get 2x is equal to, we take that away, that is 58. And then our last step would be to divide by the coefficient, divide by 2, x is equal to 29. Okay, so 29 we would then plug back into here. 2 times 29 plus 3, that would be 58 plus 3, giving us 61 degrees. Okay, so this angle right here would be 61 degrees. And if we add all these up, we can see that that would equal 360. Okay, so how would we solve for the missing angle here? All right, now this one's a little less complicated. We have 95 plus 121 plus 59 plus b, which equals 360 degrees. And then we add 95 plus 121 plus 59, and we get 275 plus b equals 360. And then we would subtract 275 from both sides, and we get b is equal to 85 degrees. Okay, and then adding these up, you'll see that 85 plus these would be 360. So we can just check our answers if we needed to. Okay, so on this next part, we're saying these are three possible sides of a triangle, the measurements. Would we be able to create a triangle in these situations? So A, the short side's 4, middle side is 12, and the long side is 24. Could that make a triangle? Okay, and the answer is no, because if we add the two short sides, they're not longer than the longer side. And as we looked at on this part, it says the longest side must be less than the sum of the two shortest sides. Okay, so this is more than. So 4 plus 12 is less than 24. Okay, it must be more than. Okay, and then look at the next one. We have 6, 12, and 20. Can those be the sides of a triangle? Okay, and here's the longest side. The answer again is no, these can't, because 6 plus 12 is less than 20, right? This is 18. And in this one, can this make a triangle? All right, now this one is yes, because 5 plus 8 is 13. And it's greater than 12, right? 13 is greater than 12.